Hello, gentlemen. How are you? Great to see you.
We're doing fantastic. Yeah,
Hello, we're doing good. How are you?
yeah. We
I'm
just went for
great.
a swim in Miami Beach. Now that's why we're still wet
Oh, really?
on our day off. Yeah, it was wonderful. The water was warm. We don't have the ocean in Botswana, so for us this was really exciting.
Well, I'm jealous now. So okay, let me start right away. First of all, congratulations on the release of Baloi.
Thank you very
Thank you
much.
very much.
Thank you.
You pronounce it very well.
So first of all, how is the tour with Soulfly right now?
The tour has been wonderful. We played in Texas, we played in Louisiana, we played in Florida, we
Mhm.
played in many places so far. So we're at the halfway point now. And then we're going to resume on Tuesday, on the 2nd of November in Fort Lauderdale. The response has been wonderful. People are very curious with our style of music, our sound, and it's always great to play to the fans. We've been to the US before, but this is the first time we are playing in the South. So it's been quite an experience for us, and it's such an honor to play with such a great band like Soulfly. We love the guys, we know them, and to us, they're like family to us at this point because we played with them so many times. So yeah, it's been going wonderful.
Yeah, and this time around, you didn't stop in Chicago.
Yeah, I think the tour was mainly for the south
I know.
because Soulfly comes from I think it's Arizona.
Mhm.
So they had the tour was planned towards Miami and then back from Miami back to Arizona. So if it was on the north, for sure you're gonna be there in Chicago because we played Chicago like twice, I believe. Yeah.
Yeah, but we'll be back in the north. There will be more tours. We haven't forgotten about the Fans Day. It was just this time we had to play new places. In the south, we got the opportunity, we got invited, and we couldn't say no to Supply because they've done a lot for us in the US, and we are very happy to support them. So this is more like us supporting them and also playing to our fans that are here also in the south. And we're surprised to find that. We have a lot of fans here and we've never played here before. So that's it means something to us.
So if no, not if, what is the first thing you have learned by touring with a band like Soulfly? I mean, Max and his family is really, the entire team is like a family. So what have you learned from them?
No, we've learned that. Like one thing when you watch Max Cavalera on stage there, and not just Max, I mean the whole band, everybody from Soulfly, Mike, Michael, Zion, all of the guys, and the whole crew, is that they are very, very energetic on stage, and they have very good crowd reactions. They make the audience really feel like they are part of the show. And you do learn a lot of things. I mean, when you play with big bands such as Soulfly, you learn a lot. You learn about the professionalism they have and how hard it is. It's very difficult work, and they work very hard. And to us, that's important to uphold professionalism and also to put on the best show possible. As Soulfly, they do one of the best live shows, and that's an inspiration to us.
I want to talk about the new album. However, I have one more question. With Skinflint touring, this is the second time in the US, or I may be
That's actually it's actually the fourth time, but
the
the
fourth
first
time.
time in the South. Yeah.
So do you see any changes as far as drawing more attention to the metal scene in Botswana, or even bands from Botswana approaching you guys to ask, hey, what can we do to do what you are doing?
Yeah. Oh well, with the metal scene in Botswana, as we have loyal fans, and they're always looking up to us as we are bringing this music to them. Like, when are we gonna have shows like this? When are we gonna have shows like this? They're really into us, and they've been loyal for a long time, and I don't know.
It's I mean, coming to the US when you come from Botswana, Botswana is a small country, and the bands around there, we almost know each other. You know, it's a small scene that you all. But now, a band from Botswana, when it comes to the US, obviously the guys they know and they see, and they start calling us. You know, they send messages. You know, when you come back, you know, they want to sit down, chat with us, and say, you know, how's the US? How can we get? Obviously, it's there. You know. And when we play back home, just because we've been playing abroad, you know, we bring back the experience back home. You know, our live performances have gone up a little bit. You know, I mean, they can see the growth that this band has got some experience. So it's really a very good learning curve when you're coming down here, and then when you go back home, you know, you change the scene, you know, you change the professional. Like Juice was saying, we learned a lot from touring with the big bands. And when you go home, you try to teach the guys, you know, this is how you set up, this is how you turn up to the shows, you know, all these things we want to bring them back home. And the fans they're very happy with the performance that we put back home. It's almost the same as we put down here. So all that we learn, we take back home, you know, we are always upgrading ourselves.
Yeah, and as we are here, they are so waiting for us to come back and give them something new. And that's how it is. We're like a family, but together with the fans and the band, you know, we are one.
It's all about the spirit of metal brotherhood. I mean, it doesn't matter when we play in Botswana, we play everywhere, every corner of the world. You see that metal has that spirit of brotherhood, and metal fans are the same all over the world. And that's such a great thing. We find metal in all the strangest corners of the world, even from the smallest places. You think you won't find metal, you'll find metal. And while it's not mainstream, it's underground. But I think that metal is a very powerful form of expression because it breaks stereotypes, it breaks boundaries, and encourages a strong sense of individuality and also thinking for yourself. So while it really helps us, these kind of tours, it improves our stage presence, it improves our performances, our songwriting. I also feel that it's not that much of a difference the way you play, you know, because metal fans, some of the best fans in the world, some of the most loyal fans in the world, they still buy albums, they still buy vinyl, they still buy CDs, lots of merch. And I think it's really something special, and it's really inspiring to see how dedicated fans of this music is.
I was born and raised in Greece, so I know what it means to be from a small country. But I do know also that in small countries, they have the most dedicated fans. So I definitely understand how the metal scene in Botswana is very, you know, like a family, and they support each other. It's great to hear.
Yeah, I think that's very important. Like I was saying, the spirit of metal brotherhood, and that's something we have a lot in Botswana. And you know, all the bands there, we come together, we support each other. Even when it comes to backline or drums or anything, we share everything. It doesn't matter. Even if we're headlining the show, you know, use our stuff. You know, we are happy to support. And even if bands want to play in Botswana, it doesn't matter from where. We will set up the shows for the guys. We'll try and make them feel like family. Try and make them feel at home. And that spirit is the most important thing to us, that spirit of support, you know, supporting bands in the scene and being the strong unity.
I love it. So how long did you work on Baloi? Because the band keeps releasing album after album.
It's quite interesting because Baloi was actually one of those albums that we composed and recorded in a very short time span. I think it was something like 2 weeks getting everything down, including composition and actually recording. And everything just flowed naturally. It wasn't difficult to come up with the stuff. Maybe it's because we do it often, but I think it's also because we have a very good chemistry in the studio, and a very strong sense of collaboration. So that means like, I don't care if my riffs get on the album or Kebonye's get on the album or Cosmos parts get on the album. That doesn't matter. What matters is that we choose the best idea at that moment, and we all collaborate to make it the best possible, because the band is ultimately bigger than any individual. So Skinflint is something bigger than any of us would hope to be, because the moment we leave Skinflint, we're nothing. And we represent the band and the spirit of collaboration. So when we make songs, it's a bit easier for us because also we are a live band before a studio band. And I think the album showed that. It sounds very live. We record live in the studio without any studio tricks. We are not wearing any masks. What you hear there, that's what we sound like. And it's a bit vulnerable. You can try and make it perfect, but I think if you try and make it perfect, you're going to lose the soul, the raw energy of a band. And especially in this modern day where so much music is overproduced, sounding a bit plastic. It sounds a bit plastic and phony to me. I can't relate to that because it's the imperfections that makes us human, and that's what I can relate to.
What I usually say in these cases is that if the music you have on the record doesn't sound as it sounds when the band is playing live, then there is something wrong. So of course there will be imperfections. Of course there will be changes even in how the drums are sounding, or the guitars, or the bass. So yeah.
Yeah, that's important to us. Yeah.
And also, I love the fact that you bring some of your country in the music. It's very important for a band to preserve their identity. And Skinflint have been doing that from the beginning. So I have to ask, what is Baloi, and what is the connection between the title and the cover artwork, first of all?
Yeah, Baloi is, it means, it's from Setswana, in Botswana, which means witches. And every album we've done for the past 17 years has always been to incorporate elements from African mythology, African history into the music. Because the main idea of Skinflint is we were sitting together one time. I was speaking with Kebonye, and I said, there's so much history, so much potential here, and all of these stories, this oral tradition of in Africa, which used to be spoken about by griots, because it wasn't much of a written history. It was more oral tradition. So a lot of these stories have not been covered by Western media. And we decided back then that we're going to try and use the metal as a platform to tell these stories, because they were very important to us. It's a very integral part of Skinflint. And we are proud to put that aspect of our culture into the music and put it out there for people to know, because a lot of people don't know it. And obviously it comes with challenges, because like if you tell anybody on the street who's Dracula, for example, they will know Dracula, but they won't know Sasa Bonsam, because Sasa Bonsam is a vampire from West Africa. But in Baloi, we were focusing more on Botswana. If you look at the artwork even, you will notice there's a heel at the back there with a snake that's coiling around. That's the heel of Lentswela Baratani. We pass it many times in Botswana, where two lovers were forbidden from getting married, and they ran to the hill and they disappeared. So some people say the hill is haunted by the two lovers, and there's a big snake, giant snake on the hill there that will eat you. So a lot of these stories, you can see them in the artwork, and we have Kishi in the front. So that's important to us, that aspect of the culture putting in. Like you say, like you come from Greece, big inspiration to us is Rotting Christ. And they put a lot of the Greek mythology, the scene about Zeus, hate, and a lot of that. We love Rotting Christ. I mean, they are one of our biggest inspirations, and especially the Hellenic metal scene. And to us, that is great. We like what they did. So we are doing basically similar things, but with our culture in Botswana.
So I like Skinflint, but now I love Skinflint.
Thank you.
So you said all these things about these stories. So did you tell all these stories to Mario Lopez? This was the person who did the cover artwork, right?
Yes, that's correct. Mario Lopez, yeah.
So you explained, you had a plan of what you guys wanted on the cover?
Yeah, the way it worked is that we, at the end of the album, when we had all the songs down and all the lyrics down, we took elements from each song, like every song there, and we put it in. Like Ritual War has the chameleon inside there. You'll notice there's a chameleon in the album artwork. Some on the left side. The chameleon in a lot of African cultures is something that comes to you and it brings you news. So in the case of the chameleon in Baloi, it's like bringing bad news, like a sign that war is about to come. And in the front, we have Kishi, which is got like a hyena face. And then the back has got a human face there. And his head can turn around like this. and he can go out seducing people, and then he eats them at night when he takes them to the bush or the trees. And like I said, at the back there's Lencho Baratani. That's the exact hill. We took photos of that hill and we sent it to Mario Lopez to get some inspiration. So we sent him some parts about the song, and we wanted to make it look like it's inclusive of most of the things, the stories we're trying to tell. I think that's the best artwork we did personally, because I think it really shows a lot of elements of our culture inside there. And I think he did an excellent job, Mario Lopez.
Yeah, I was as you were talking, I was looking at the artwork, noticing all these stuff that I haven't noticed in the beginning. So thank you for that. So Sangoma is a song, traditional music, or is it also a song? It has vocals there. I'm talking about Sangoma.
Sorry, can you repeat the question? It was cutting. Yeah.
Okay. I was asking about Sangoma. I'm not sure if I pronounced it correctly. So
yeah, it's correct. Yeah.
So
Sangoma is basically, it means it can be many things, but Sangoma is an integral part of African culture, because you can go from the south of Africa, you can go all the way to West Africa, you can go to Central Africa, everywhere, and you'll hear about Sangomas. So Sangomas can be healers, Sangomas can be fortune tellers, Sangomas can be also participating in witchcraft. So in this album, Baloi, we were talking more on the darker side of witchcraft. And in the song Sangoma, it's basically taking trinkets of fetches, bones, and taking the souls of people and putting them into the bones and keeping them as powers, believed to be powers. So that's Sangoma we felt it's a good track to have the video of.
So go ahead. Sorry.
Oh, I thought you were asking about having the traditional track and also the heavy metal part. So we are trying to make a taste of the other our traditional music there, where we're using the drums and then the vocals there. So, but then you also took it and played as a heavy metal. So that one, the one track that was with bongos, it was just to give you a taste of how the African music of most of our inspiration comes from.
Yeah, because a lot of times it's an interpretation, and it's a translation from the music we hear in Botswana, our traditional music, and we basically translate it into metal. And sometimes when you translate it to metal, unless you're quite familiar with the rhythms and the beats, some of the translation might get lost on listeners. So that's why we put Sangoma traditional before Sangoma Black Magic, because that's how we originally wrote the song. And then we translated that into metal. And having the two songs next to each other, we felt like let's leave the skeleton of the song. Let's leave how it came into the album to give people an idea of where the inspiration comes from.
So have you thought about using more, maybe this question is for Cosmo, more percussion that you have in Botswana? I don't know, different style of drums. I have no idea how these traditional instruments are called. Have you ever considered of using these in the music for Skinflint, just like you did in this intro?
When we structured the song, we were using this drum. What is it called?
The congas.
The congas. That the one that you use hands on top of it. That drum is more traditional, and we loved the sound that was coming out of it. It was matching well with the singers, Kebonye and Giuseppe.
Yeah,
like we could add more if we wanted, but that really sounded more original and raw.
Yeah, maybe also when you try to add the traditional music, the instrument, the problem is will be when you try to tour and then you are moving on a plane, it becomes a problem. Some of these instruments, they look like weapons, then people at the security will give you problems. But, it's something that I think we are open to it. Every time when you write music, we are always thinking about what can we put, what we didn't put in the past. So I think it's going to be some plans in the future that, we would like to introduce some of these instruments and then have them as part of the drum.
I mean, like in our album, Chief of the Coast, we used traditional matoa, which is like ankle shakers, which is made from the moth there, and it has seats inside, and it makes a shaking sound on the feet. That's the song is called Barankana Metal that we have. You can even check it on YouTube, Barankana Metal. That is all traditional percussions used on that song. But the problem that we had is that when we were trying to use these things live, is that you would have to put microphones on the floor of the stages. So you would need many microphones there, and it was a bit of a hassle to take it up and down. So it sort of became a problem of budget, you know. So I think that if we have the right budget and bigger touring budget, like I said, then it's possible to bring all of these percussions and do a live version of it, and also incorporate more in the studio. But because of the challenges with the tour, we felt to kind of limit it a bit with the songs.
Of course, and the way you have described this, the music of Skinflint, you don't want to use anything that is taped, right? Pre-recorded stuff. So you want?
Yeah.
So we want to replicate the sound that we do on the studio. It's exactly live, and if we cannot bring those instruments with us, it becomes a problem.
Yeah, but I mean, the sound of those instruments, I think at least they do. They really fit metal, because they can bring, you know, not an evil aspect. I don't know how to describe it. You know, you can almost get into the black metal territory with all these strange, let's say, sounds, at least to metal. So I really hope that Skinflint will become even larger to bring those elements. And why not?
If we do it on the next album, we're gonna credit you for this. We're definitely we'll really consider this. And next album, maybe we'll go all out with it.
So now that you mentioned the next album, have you guys started working on the next one?
We have already so many songs that didn't make it on Baloi, and we are always making music. You know, like even if we are by the beach walking, we are humming some riffs or the sound in the head. It just never stops coming to you. Yeah, so we can definitely make another album, but we just want to wait with this one, give it a year or so of promotion, and then after that, we're definitely back in the studio and back to touring some more. We never stop. That's the way we roll.
And are there any plans? I'm sure there are some limitation as far as the budget to release any Skinflint album on vinyl.
Sorry?
Release any Skinflint album as vinyl, you know, the records, not only as CD.
Oh, vinyl, yes. Yes, we do have vinyl masters. We actually in the talks right now to have it released, but right now we don't have a concrete release, but it's very important to us because the band's origins, we were discovered in 2011 by a record company called Legion of Death Records. And the guy who plays for it, his name is Shaksul, who plays for a black metal band in France called Menza. Mm-hmm. He was also the founder of Death Spell Omega, and he discovered Skinflint, and he put us on the label. And one of our first international releases was a 7-inch called Gaona, and it was limited to 500 copies, and it was only on vinyl. So we have origins doing vinyl, and I think it's a shame that we never really had the opportunity to release it like this, because, you know, a lot of the times, you know, the labels will say, no, vinyls are not selling and this is not, but we'll take it into our hands, and we are still trying to push for it, and hopefully we can get vinyls, not just for this album, but I want to have vinyls for all of the band's discography, because I think the fans really like that, especially the hardcore fans who want to have some collection.
Yeah, and I believe that it is easier for us to support the band, right? To buy some stuff from you guys and actually give something back to you.
Yes, that's true, yes.
So November 8th is the last day that you play with SOULFLY. What do you have planned after that?
We're going to have to fly back home. Like Juice was, you know, we don't stop. So we're going to fly back home. We have a few shows back in Africa. So to close off the year. So then we're going to have a bit of a vacation. Then in January, we're going to be back because right now we are still trying to organize some more shows back here in the US. Hopefully we're going to be coming to Chicago. So after the Christmas holidays and New Year, so I think some news will follow very soon, and you get some new dates before you are going.
Okay, if you don't, I will call you back, guys. I will chase you down. Thank you very much. It was great seeing you, the three of you. Let's help to meet each other next year. Have safe travels and rest. Take a good rest when you are back at home, and keep doing what you're doing, man.
No,
thank you, man.
Thank you so much.
We
I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Have a great rest of your day and great rest of your tour with SOULFLY.
Yeah, thank you. Really appreciate it. Thank you.
Bye-bye.